A lot going on, but not too much. I'll stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to do a roll call. Adams. Here. Garrett. Here. Green. Here. Gonzi.
Yes.
Crane.
Here.
Here.
Can you get promoted?
Okay, so I do have a couple of things to add to the agenda. Oh, I do have a couple of things to add to the agenda. We're going to add a, where did I just write that? Well, I just wrote it down. Oh, here we go. Okay. We're gonna add C1, and that is the resolution, the fire chief needs to, we did a resolution to approve the fire code. And then 7A3, under the supervisor, we're going to add the generator for the Lincoln Pines pump station.
I was just gonna ask them, I thought they just appealed the 2021 code. Didn't they just appeal the 21 code?
You're asking about the building code or the fire code?
Building code, they suspended.
They're working through the legislation now on that.
What's that right
Okay, so now
now? All right, you want to make the motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
I'll second.
Aye.
Okay, so I would make a motion to approve the, oh, okay, public comment.
Yeah, we did that. Now we're on the public comment. Now we make sure we remember. Sorry if you didn't hear me. Open it up for public comment. Remember that the public comment is for agenda items only. And you've got 3 minutes. Who'd like to start?
I will. Do I go here? or
Yes, ma'am, either one.
Okay, thank you. My name is Samantha Toller, and I live on Stubby Creek Road. I really don't want to get emotional, so please forgive me if I do. A couple of years ago, we had a medical emergency at my home, and the fire department came. What an amazing job they did. There were so many people coming in, and one of the beautiful fire ladies was mopping up all this, and they plowed my driveway. And I said, I have to come over here and tell you about this. But life happens and you just don't do it. But a couple weeks ago, my husband was dying. And we called the fire department, and he showed up. I guess in the time that was the most awful day of my whole life, it was to see the comfort of someone who's so compassionate with us. So, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for that day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add for public? Come on, Cass.
I'll put it back until I turn it on.
think I turned it off now, and I can't see the glasses on things. Sorry about that. I should have known better. No. I just have a brief comment. If I read the packet right, which I hope I did, I was reading the audit report. And one of the things that I think that if I understood it correctly, they said that they did not assess for significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. And I have a concern about that, unless things have changed drastically with how the state looks at things. It would seem pertinent, because I did mention that there may be some issues with internal controls, and they would discuss that later. But it seems like that would be a relevant thing to continue looking at, is whether or not we have any issues with our controls that would indicate any kind of significant deficiencies or internal or material deficiencies. Or it might be the other way around, but that just seemed like an important issue to keep an eye on at all times.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cal. Has anybody else got anything?
I do.
Got one?
I'm sorry, go ahead, I didn't see you stand up.
That's all right.
Not too many times do I have to bend to reach something. My name is Eileen, and I oppose the conditional rezoning because, number one, rezoning is a want, not a need, so ordinances don't apply. It's to a rezoning. Two, it does not fit the master plan as I read it. The goals of the master plan are to preserve the rural character, protect the integrity of existing future residential area, and develop future residential areas of a character and density consistent with the township goal to preserve is the general rule. Promote the limited development of commercial uses in appropriate locations of the township to serve the everyday needs of residents. Promote the limited development of residential uses in appropriate areas of the township that generate little or no environment. Protect the environment of the township, rural natural resources, provide the highest quality public facilities and services possible at the affordable rate for the residents of the township, provide adequate infrastructure to safely, effectively, efficiently service the residents of the township in a manner consistent with the township's growth management, develop and maintain safe and efficient transportations, preserve the rural character of Augusta through the management of growth and preservation of natural resources and active farm. Objective one focus, future growth and development around the Lincoln Consolidated School campus and the village of Willis to create distinct places and maintain the rural agricultural character of the remainder of the township. There are several other points, but basically they say the same thing. I'm also concerned with the ordinance that was read and voted on the last meeting. It didn't mention conditional rezoning. It's my understanding that the wording for a conditional rezoning is different than a general zoning. I also don't believe the proposed data center will stay contained within the 20% of the 800 plus acres that they want to build on. Another point is I don't remember anyone running for office on the township being in such, for running for office, that the township is in such poor financial standings that the only thing we can do to bring us out of it right now is to sell ourselves to the devil. You also allude to the fact that water can only be brought in, from many of the residents, but everything I've read about data centers consuming large amount of waters, it could end up being a bigger problem from the residents than it is now. I also saw a point on there that said data centers are relatively quiet. I have a nephew that I just talked to recently. He's on the planning commission in Loudoun County, Virginia, which has tons of data centers. He's sent a ton of meetings. Everybody complains about the noise. And they're all built in, well, not all of them, but most of them in industrial areas. Thank you.
Anybody else got a comment?
No, ladies first.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Wendy Tobler. I lived on Bunton Road for 47 years. This
24, 1,800 acre parcel has been a battleground between residents and would-be big bad industries for decades. Once we start chiseling away at it, especially with a large portion of it like this, we'll set a precedent to start a domino effect. We'll lose our credibility to stand behind our reason all of these years to keep it rural. I wonder how many of you know that in the 1990s, a steel plant wanted to build on this land. Only public backlash, lack of the enormous amount of water it would require, and the lack of necessary zoning eventually sent them away. How many of you know that several years ago, 250 acres immediately south of this property was bought by communist Chinese businessmen with the intention of establishing a self-contained community of some 6,000 members of their families, friends, and associates from China. They built their own schools, stores, gas stations, homes stacked 4 stories high, everything. It's right here. It would be. Milan and the federal government have stopped them so far. But if we rezone this land, whoever develops that 250 acres will have no more obstacle to stop them from expanding across the road and using our land to serve their industrial needs. I wonder how many of you moved here or were raised here and decided to stay here because you wanted to live in a rural atmosphere. I wonder how many of the board members moved here or stayed here because they wanted to live in a rural atmosphere. How many of you moved here in the hopes that Augusta Township would become industrialized? How many board members, I wonder, moved here or stayed here because you hope that Augusta Township will become industrialized?
Yeah.
If not, why would you destroy this magic piece of the formula that has prevented wildly unwelcome industrial development in this precious rural buffer zone that residents from 3 townships over the years have successfully fought off? Thank you.
Good, anybody else got any comment? Come on.
Yeah, this is about mutual storage and what those fine 2 ladies said. I agree with them 100% about their reason. But I see you guys are letting mutual storage do a lot more changes to the 3.5-year agreement it took people negotiating to make. And now you're letting them make changes to make the retention pond smaller. Instead of using the gabion filled cages for the rocks that are way more time efficient to not let stuff wash away. It's less maintenance for stuff growing out of it. I see about maybe letting him do the check on the stuff to make sure everything's cleaned out and stuff. I think we should have left it all the way it was, because I don't know if you could trust him, because over the last 15, 20 years, he built a huge complex on agricultural land with no permits, did not meet the master plan, did not meet the land management use, and he hooked into the illegal water across the street. He lied to the planning commission multiple times, and it says right in the agreement, all the landscaping was supposed to be done by the planning commission. He's already put trees in, that's landscaping, and you're bypassing what the planning commission's supposed to be doing. I think you should let the planning commission be involved in this. I think that would work out a lot better. And there's just so much about this that I don't agree with, and hopefully it gets better. I don't see that happening, especially if you guys aren't watching. I was told by, I talked to Sue over there on the phone the one day, and she said, we were talking that all that drainage ditch was just temporary, and the trees were temporary. Do you remember that, Sue? And then Kim picked up the phone, and she heard that too. It wasn't temporary back then, and now you guys are changing the rules. So why would somebody that's had all these problems don't follow where everything's supposed to be and put it where they want, and then think they're not going to be repercussions? None of this makes sense. You know, it should have been all followed the way it said. I wouldn't have been involved with it anymore. I was happy with the agreement. Now I got a moat running around my entire property now, which isn't fair to me. And what if a little kid gets in that ditch and can't, if 4 or 5-year-old little kid falls in there, he's gonna drown. There's nothing gonna save him to get out of that. And this, it don't make sense. This has gotta get fixed. Then my neighbors, a lot of them, Seth Gore told me to speak for him, and he said he feels the same way. Follow what Washtenaw County said. It was a 3-year negotiating. Why not follow it? And that's all I can say.
All right, anybody else got anything for public comment?
Over here.
Come on.
Here to speak about the same arrangement. They have a court order, laid out everything, how it's supposed to be done. It's supposed to be done under permits. I haven't seen a permit posted anywhere. They've tore out stuff that was in there before, hauled off. I couldn't tell you how many thousand yards of dirt and stuff, old tires, scrap metal, stuff that they dug up when they was doing all this. He changed the consent agreement, and he's getting away with the same thing he's been getting away with for 37 years. The first PUD was to straighten out all the stuff that they've been getting away with. And there was a clause in there to shut them down if they didn't comply. They didn't comply, they expanded, they've done numerous things that are not only not good, but probably illegal.
Okay, stop. Listen, we're not gonna do this because there's a consent agreement that Mr. Calamine has to follow. That is what he's
And
doing.
you guys are trying to change.
No, I'm not trying to change. This is a court order. This is between the courts and the agreements with the county and the township. So it's not you guys, nothing. He's doing what he's supposed to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. if
Where
you
are
like
the
it or
permits
not.
posted?
Well, that's on them guys. It's not, I don't.
Who guys?
It's on whoever is the, I don't know.
Whoever's
Do they
doing-
have to be found? Do they have to be posted?
Permits have to be posted.
Okay, well, then,
Requires you post permit, but we do know he's got permits.
we know you.
I don't care if he's got them. They need to be posted where they can be seen, then you can see if they've been
You can
inspected.
also look online and see
See
the
if they're
permits.
posted.
What if you don't go online? What if the old fashioned way just works and it's part of the law?
Okay, well, that's fine. Metro, put up a, can you do that? Just put up a post permit.
Not a problem, but
Thank
this
you.
is something that
And
they
the
are.
next item, the stuff they took out between my property and theirs, now I walk out in my backyard,
This
I
is not
see,
an agenda item. This is not a.
it's
on
part of the
agenda.
consent agreement.
No,
I
it's-
didn't see anything in the consent agreement
You're
that
talking-
says that they could take out that berm, knock down all the brush and stuff that separated me from them to give me a modicum of privacy. And
Howard, you're not, this is not an agenda item you're talking about.
it's
You're
part of
talking
the
about
consent
something
agreement.
That he has to remove dirt. He's gotta remove a lot of dirt. He has to remove a lot of dirt. So yes, it is.
And you're not changing any of that. The court
Then-
order's still
then
going
whatever
through.
is in the
You've got
consent-
till December to do it.
Listen, I'm not going back and forth with you. He's got a consent agreement, he has to follow.
This is
through
my
with the
time
court.
for comment.
If he doesn't, follow, yeah, that's fine. But you're not gonna sit here and call him a crook and a liar in front of people because he has a consent agreement.
Most of the people probably don't even have to be
All right,
accused
we're
of that.
done, you're almost done with your 3 minutes if you'd like to finish.
I want fences and stuff put up along with everything else that they tore out, fixed. I'm tired of living in the middle of their shit.
He has a court in order to do his thing.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he ever does it.
Anybody else got anything they'd like to add? Yes, sir.
Hope you get along with it, so let you talk. You just shut up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get down on my knees, Kath.
Pull it up, you gotta pull it
All
up.
right, most people here tonight are against this data center. You know, I was supervisor for 8 years. I seen what we need. I agree with it. I agree with it. This township needs money to operate, whether people like it or not. You know, I was back and forth on it for a while, but the more I look at it, the more I know how it will benefit this township. I think it's a good thing. I don't know how you guys are gonna vote tonight, but I hope you approve the second reading.
Thank you, sir. Has anybody else got a comment?
I don't speak well, but here goes. I'm Debbie Ross. I live front of the property you're trying to rezone. We've lived there since 1986. I'm opposed to the rezoning because it borders my property. We moved to the country for peace and quiet to raise our kids. If we wanted noise, we'd pick a city. Our number 3, our farmland needs to stay farmland. 4, there's already 300 and some acres already zoned commercial industrial. That's plenty, we don't need any more. You have already turned many acres into solar fields that have no benefit to Augusta residents. The gun range was put in with no input from residents. This goes against the master plan. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to rezone. So I am against it. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything for public comment? No?
I don't have anything prepared, but my name's Lisa Gurman, and I live on Mile and Oakville, and I back right up to that property that you intend to put the data center on. And don't tell me you haven't voted on it yet. I oppose it because it's known that the sound problem is a big issue. They're all over the country. This isn't, just go on the internet and look it up. They can tell you whatever they want. But, you know, that's not true. It will be a problem. That'll affect the wildlife. Animals will leave because they don't like that low volume or that low sound all the time, and it'll affect all sorts of things. And in addition, you know, once that goes in, you're opening the door for more expansion. And like everybody else has said, we all moved here to live in a rural community, an agricultural rural community. This does not fit the master plan as I read it either.
Nope.
And a lot of you all think that it's a great idea because it's not in your backyard.
Thank you.
Exactly.
And it's in ours. And we are expendable, so you can make some money for the township. I don't really think that it's going to be what you believe it's going to be. And it opens the door to ruin this township. You've already started with the solar fields, and now this. And before you know it, nobody's going to want to live here. And that's the end of that. Okay? So you think on that real hard, because you're here to uphold what that master plan says. And this is not what you're doing. That's it. That's all I have to say.
I'll be quick. I'm Belinda Domas, your former clerk and your deputy clerk now. I heard a few people talking about our master plan. I pulled it up on my phone, and those statements that this isn't in accordance with our master plan unless I don't know how to read maps.
Get a little closer.
The planning commission.
Get a little closer to you, man.
The planning commission shot down the rezoning of this property, even though the paid professionals put together a 16-page proposal as to why it was in accordance with our master plan. So unless our paid professionals don't know their jobs, and I don't know how to read maps, I just wanted to make that correction.
It does fit. Okay, is anybody else? All right, we got a few things we need to tend to. We're gonna close public comment, but there's one fine thing that I'd like to say. How many in here wants their taxes to go up? Put your hands up. You want you to go up another, which one? Rodney, you want your taxes to go up? Who
If it's
else?
gonna stay rural, I want it not
Let's
paid
spin the
off.
camera around at the crowd. Let's see who all would like our
I'll have mine
taxes.
go up if it means no data center.
Right.
They go up every year and we don't
Keep it
have one.
rural.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
beautiful. So we got, how many hands? Maybe 10 hands. There's over 7,000 residents in this community that we have to represent. Over 7,000.
Are they here?
Well, no, they're not, but maybe they are. They watch TV.
Put it on the ballot.
So we're not gonna go back and forth. So, you know, we can raise the taxes, or we can allow something to help alleviate the pressures of these costs
That's the best
for
way
the
to
rest of
make,
us. Be still and quit.
and that's the best way to make things happen.
Howard,
What?
I'm not gonna ask you again, my man. We're gonna
You
be
be polite to me,
respectful.
I'll be polite to
Be
you.
respectable.
I've been respectful.
Yeah, okay. So anyway,
Friend.
we need to have something come in here, or else it's gonna fall on the backs of the taxpayers. You'll have taxes and you'll get nothing for it but the bare minimum. So we have to alleviate some of the pressure of the residents. That's just all it's doing. Let's move on, close comment, on to the next.
Okay, so I would make a motion to approve the draft meeting minutes from the June 24th, 2025 meeting.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye. You want me to introduce
Yes.
Mike Roca? Mike Roca is from Yo and Yo Auditing, and he's here to present our audit for the fiscal year April 1st of 2024 to March 31st of 2025.
Thank you. Once again, my name is Mike Rolka with Yo and Yo CPAs. Thank you for having me here. I have some brief highlights in front of you in this presentation of the numbers, and then mostly I'll be focusing on the opinion and any of the internal control related matters. I would like to clarify one thing that came up in public comment. I don't normally do this, but we do evaluate internal controls to help identify material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls for financial reporting. We have not identified any. If we had, they would be reported to you all. So, starting on the first page here is the audit opinion. This can only be issued by a licensed CPA firm, and it is the highest level of assurance that you can receive on your financial statements. With that, you have to keep in mind what is management's responsibility. So you all, what is your responsibility for the financial statements? And that would be the preparation and fair presentation of that information in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. In addition, you have to have that level of internal controls, the design, the implementation, the maintenance and monitoring, as well as evaluation when things happen, to make sure that you have controls in place to prevent, detect fraud, or correct it in a timely manner, or just errors, not necessarily fraud. Our responsibility is to evaluate those controls, plan an audit, create procedures that we see as fit for your financial statements to validate those numbers and make sure that those books are in good standing. With that, we have issued an unmodified opinion. What that means is that the books can be relied upon, they're materially correct, and that's the highest level of assurance you can receive. It's like an A+ on a report card.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That makes sense.
Next, some of the, just a little bit on the numbers, so you can see your general fund revenues here. By and large, your largest source is state grants. Most of that is your annual funding from the state and a little bit one-time grant this year, about $200,000. Licenses and permits about $67,000, and property taxes are just under $400,000, with some miscellaneous revenue there. That might change year over year, but by and large, you're going to see over half of your revenues every year is the state shared revenue. You can see the trend line here for the past 5 years on the next slide. This year, it's up quite a bit, once again, from that one-time state grant. So I would expect it to come back down a bit in the following year to be more consistent with 23 and 24. Following page, the expenditures in the general fund. By and large, general government, so that's going to be supervisor's department, clerk, treasurer, everything it takes to operate the township on a day-to-day basis. Public works is 31% of the expenses, small amount for recreation and culture, and about 11% for community and economic development. This is a consistent percentage allocations with past years. Once again, you'll see the trend line there of the expenses from 2021 through 2025. It is up compared to 2024 because of the costs that went along with that state grant. You got the money in, but it also had to go out. So it was the project was completed. I'd expect that to come down a little bit in the next year. On the following slide, you can see the revenues and expenses together as they trend along. You've been living within your means where expenses and revenue, or expenses are not exceeding your revenues. They were almost spot on in 2024, a little bit of a gap this year to add to fund balance. On to the following page, these are your proprietary funds, so your water and sewer funds. You'll see that the total assets for the sewer fund is 2.3 million, and total for the water fund is 5 million. By and large, the most of those assets is capital assets, so your infrastructure to support the water and sewer lines. And for your current assets there, it's mostly cash and receivables. There's some payables in the liability sections there, in the sewer and water fund about $89,000 and $126,000. In the non-current liabilities you see there is the outstanding debt. So the net position for sewer is 1.4 million and 4.1 million for water. But again, remember most of that's tied up in capital assets.
Explain to the crowd what the capital assets are.
That would be your water and sewer lines, everything you don't see to help bring water and dispose of sewage. Everything that's underground.
So that's the cost of what the equipment is that we have.
Correct.
Right, so I don't want, so when you explain that, some people won't understand it. They think that that's how much cash we got sitting
No,
in the
it is
kitchen.
not the cash, right?
It is the actual pipes, hydrants, and
Correct.
whatnot that we have that run it. So I don't want people to, oh, you got all this money in it.
It's not cash, correct.
Exactly, okay.
That would in theory be what it would be if you liquidated everything in those funds,
So,
but there's really not a market for used water and sewer lines. It's not fair value, it's gap basis, so. Lastly, I'd like to discuss what we call our governance letter, and so that's required communications to all of you, and that's included in your packet as well. I'm going to hit on just a few of the key points this year. I welcome you to read it all. So first of all, these are required communications, goes over the planned timing and scope of the audit, and then I want to talk about just a few of the new things this year. So GASB 100 and GASB 101 were new accounting standards. Those were implemented during the year. They really didn't have a major impact on the township. There's significant estimates used in developing the financial statements, and I like to pause with that and state that no set of financial statements could be created without some level of estimation. Every single audit I do has multiple estimates included in the financial statements. So with that, one of your most important estimates is how long you expect those capital assets that you purchase to last. So if you were to buy a water line, you would probably assign it something like 50 years as an example, and that's how long you depreciate it over. So that is an estimate, because maybe it breaks down after 30 or what have you. There are